fearless, you got fire. He's the spark that lifts you higher. You were made for joy, made for more. It's time to walk through heaven's door. The world is yours, take your place. Every dream aligned with grace. Overflow is your reward. Walk it out, abundance is yours. Oh, you can change it every time. Hope and faith, they realign. You're not stuck, not anymore. 'Cause girl, abundance is yours.
Welcome, everyone. I am so excited. This is Julie Loughlin Haers with Divine Abundance, and I'm just thrilled to have one of my really good friends on here today with us to share some wisdom and insight. I think Melissa and I have been friends for, it's got to be 10 or 15 years now.
I'm not sure.
Right? I know it's been a long time, right, Melissa? So
Yeah.
it's Melissa Sakofsky Kanara, and she is the founder of Rescripted Peace Counseling. Her office is located in Bushnell's Basin, right in the Rochester area, Rochester, New York. And she was so gracious to agree to come on the show today and just give us some really good insight, especially right before the holiday. I think this message is so timely. So, Melissa, thank you for being here. I know you've got some letters behind your name, and I don't want to miss those too. So, you are an LMHC. Can you tell everybody what that means?
It's a licensed mental health counselor.
Okay.
My licensure is in New York State, and I'm also an LPC, which is a licensed practicing counselor in South Carolina.
That's amazing. So can you practice in both places?
I can.
Awesome. That's really cool. I do have some clients and some friends in South Carolina, so I'll definitely be sharing your name, and I'm glad I asked you that question. I know prior to getting into counseling, you were also a school counselor, like your independent, what you're doing now with your own business. Can you tell us a little bit? Well, before I get into that, I've got to backtrack. Sorry, Melissa. I got to start with a question I ask everybody. Our show, Divine Abundance, for me, abundance means abundance of kindness, abundance of spirit of helping, of sharing information that I feel has been gatekept for a long time. So abundance means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But I want to ask you, for you, what does abundance mean to you, Melissa?
Well, first and foremost, I feel like I am already abundant in the relationships in my life. My friends mean the world to me, and the family of choice, that have always been an amazing support for me. And, being able to support them in their times of trials and successes is, to me, I feel makes me the wealthiest person I know. But from a professional standpoint, I feel like it's like not having to worry about financial stress, having a thriving practice. So I'm able to help people become stronger and improve their own quality of life. Being able to say yes to more things that enrich my life, whether it be more continuing education, travel, which is something I just want to do as much of as possible.
I know.
And I love entertaining, being able to do that on a frequent basis and doing things for the people I love.
I love that. I love that. Tell us a little bit about your business and what was your inspiration for starting Rescripted Peace Counseling?
Well, like you mentioned, I was a school counselor previously. I always had a desire to help people. When I was younger, I had no idea what that might look like until I was going through a corporate layoff, as many of us have in our previous lives.
I've been through too.
I think my mother always wanted me to be a teacher, and I was like, yeah, no, because besides, I think parenting is probably the hardest job on this planet and totally unappreciated.
Yeah.
And a woman was helping us with our transition in searching for a new job and mentioned her desire to perhaps go back to school to be a school counselor. And I was like, I had an Oprah aha moment, and that's what I'm going to do. I can help people, and having a school schedule isn't the worst thing on the planet either. So I was like, at that point in my life, in my early 30s, I'm like, okay, that's a good work-life balance to me.
Yeah.
So I
absolutely
applied to one school, I got in, and I just went for it. And during the course of my studies, also was able to do clinical, and loved the idea of doing clinical counseling. At the time, they didn't have a dual program. But fast forward, 12 plus years
Mhm.
later, and the opportunity to pursue my license came up. So I figure about every 10 to 12 years, I'll keep going back to school to do more, something else. But
I love this. Like, I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
So it just, as far as my own practice, I said, I've just recently moved back from being away from the Rochester area for 4 years.
Mhm.
And having been in the helping industry for 16 years, I was just ready to start my own practice and do it my way. I want to
Yeah.
serve others and do it on my own terms.
I love this, Melissa, and you are so fabulous. And you're just such a great friend. I don't know you on a counseling level, but as a friend, you are such a good listener, and you're so supportive of your friend network. And I know that that's why you get that full circle. Being your friend, I've experienced that firsthand, and the love that you show for other people. Like, truly blessed to be your friend.
Likewise.
Thank you. I would like to ask you, like, as you think about your business, who are the people specifically that you serve?
Sure. I mean, adults.
Mhm.
Even though I did love my time as a school counselor, I find from a therapeutic standpoint, I do connect well with um, adult
Yeah.
patients, and it's adults that are experiencing transitions, whether they're struggling with grief, they might be processing life's changes,
Mhm.
dealing with anxiety, depression, depleted self-worth,
Yeah.
suffering under the weight of their past trauma, for example.
Mhm.
All of these look different for everybody. And a lot of people get stuck in these things, stuck in their
Yes.
fear, stuck in their trauma, stuck in their fear, and just need to take a step forward. And I feel like I am able to help people do that. I don't do it for them because
Mhm.
the misnomer in therapy is that we fix you, but we're
No,
there as a
you're
catalyst.
actually doing the work as
Yes,
an active participant.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm there as a catalyst, as maybe a map holder, because I do feel like people have answers within them, but they're so stuck that they can't get there. So I'm there to kind of
Yeah.
put up a map, right?
Yeah. Kind of
Like,
like show the light. Like there is light at the end of this tunnel, and just here's some pathways that you can go down to. I love that analogy. Thank you for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I know that there's been some really cool, unique methodologies that you've used and you've had like really good success with. Can you share with all of us a little bit about ART, what it is,
Hmm.
what's it for, and maybe a success story that you've had?
Sure, sure. Before I go into ART, I am also trained in DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy.
Hmm.
And what I like about that is it gives people tools that help them with mindfulness, which is really the core of almost anything we do,
Hmm.
right? It helps them with interpersonal relations, helps them with emotional regulation and distress tolerance. So, sometimes people are struggling and they just don't know what to do. And you know, if you have these tools that have been taught to you and you practice them, it's like you have this invisible toolkit that can help you grab something because it's right
Hmm.
there in this. I call it the invisible fanny pack that no one should be seen wearing in public, but it's there, right?
Yeah,
But
and it's super helpful to know these tools, especially in high stress times. Yeah.
yes. So akin to that, I've been trained in a modality called, as you said, ART, which is accelerated resolution therapy. It's
Okay.
a it's a type of psychotherapy that helps people resolve trauma and other difficult life experiences very quickly, um, often in just like 1 to 3 sessions. I give people reasonable expectations because, when we have this, some people might have layered traumas or layered
Mhm.
stuff, let's just say concerns. And what we'll do is lift them.
Mhm.
And sometimes they're layered on top of each other, sometimes they're buried. So sometimes once we've lifted one thing, other stuff may pop up to the surface. So
Yes.
you might need another session that would also help clear those things. And what it does, the core of ART involves that the therapist guiding the client through a series of gentle eye movements,
Hmm.
similar to like what we do in our REM sleep.
Yep.
And the movements help calm the nervous system and make the memory flexible enough to change. It literally gives your brain a workout and you're making new synapses during that session.
Wow.
And the main goal is literally memory rescripting,
Yes.
or voluntary image replacement. It's not
Hmm.
hypnosis. I do not have that ability.
Right.
The client keeps the facts of the event, so you're not going to forget. your stuff or what happened to
Right.
you. But the therapist helps them visualize and replace distressing or painful images in
Mm-hmm.
their mind with peaceful or preferred images. And the result is that the memory no longer triggers a strong emotional or physical reaction. Because sometimes when we're stressed or
Yeah.
scared, we might sweat, our heart
Your
might,
stomach might be off. There's all kinds of things
yep.
that happen to
And it
people.
allows
Yeah.
the person to feel relief and move forward.
That's amazing. And I know you have had really good results with this. I know
Hmm.
you can't share patient information, but
Yeah.
just a general background of what was happening for the person
Mhm.
that you and I have spoken about and like
Yeah,
the results of what happened. That would be super helpful to just know a general,
sure.
case scenario.
Yeah, this particular story really excites me with regard to ART and its effectiveness.
Hmm.
I had a woman come to me and she had had a cardiac episode.
Hmm.
She had had to have surgery. It was very scary, kind of came out of nowhere for her. And um, post all that, she was having severe panic attacks to the point where she wasn't sleeping. She didn't want to go places. She, at one point, had to get off an airplane
As
because
someone who's had severe panic attacks, I
Mhm.
can so sympathize and
Yep.
relate. They're terrifying. And if you've never had one, you actually feel like you're having a heart attack.
Yeah, yeah,
It
and
would
on top of
probably
that,
add to
like
her angst.
right, and on top of that, people have panic attacks about having panic attacks. Like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, what if this happens to me? What if it, or so it's a
Yeah.
combination of her fear of having another episode of with involving her heart
Mhm.
and the fear of like losing it, whether it be in public or never not getting sleep or not being able to focus.
Right. Yeah.
She was a pretty productive woman. She was a retired teacher. She
Hmm.
had a husband that was very successful, and like they were, she was
Yeah.
just like, and so I did one ART session with her. I always meet with people first. I do an intake. We usually
Yep.
do a session of talking after the intake before I just dive into ART. I do,
Right. Right.
like I said, some of those DBTs tools. I teach that, and I encourage people to practice them just because when we're
Mhm.
in distress, we scramble to like, what do I do? What do I do? And if you haven't practiced something, it's
Yeah. You kind of you'll panic in the moment because you're like, oh,
right.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you built up that invisible fanny pack, it's helpful, right?
Hmm.
Um, so then I did an ART session with her, and the following session, it does take a full session, so there's not a lot of therapy talking. It's just going through. I go through a script. We do eye
Hmm.
movements. I check in with your physicality, and we kind of rewrite that script.
Hmm.
She comes back to me, and she's like, Melissa, you changed my life. And
Oh,
I got emotional, I think, because
oh, I would
it
definitely
just
cry.
like,
I would be like, oh my
yeah.
God.
Oh, I'm a total empath. Like yeah.
Hmm.
So she's like, it's still here.
Hmm.
I know of it, but I'm not triggered. I'm not
And
like,
it's not changing her life, right? It's
and I'm
not like taking
sleeping. Yeah.
her.
She's like, I'm
Yeah.
sleeping. I'm good. I can go I have my life back is basically what she
Hmm.
said. So I was and just, you know, every, not everything works for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's just a great reminder to me, like I'm doing the right thing for people, and I can help people.
Hmm.
Like not every medication works for everybody, right?
No.
It's um, I think we all might suffer here and there of like what do they call imposter syndrome from
Yeah.
time to time. I and then it was just another like, oh yeah, you got this.
You
So
do. You do have this. And like what a gift actually to you to hear that feedback from a client, to know that you've made that kind of impact for somebody. I think that's massive. And I know, Melissa, as you as a therapist, you're very success oriented. Like you really want to help people get to the space that they've come to work with you on and through, right? So I love that. And thank you for sharing that with the audience. I think that is so cool. As you think about as you think about your life and your career, like in totality, can you share with us maybe something that you've overcome that you're just incredibly proud of? Like this was a really tough thing and I overcame it and it's something that I'm really proud of.
sure. I mean, I don't know if this is something I've completely overcome.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a very major loss in the last year and a half. I lost my husband. Um, and
I'm so sorry too, Melissa.
I thank you so much.
Mhm.
Um, and I moved myself back up here on my own from living down south, and that it was scary. I
Yeah.
know, even though my support system is so vast, and it really is, like, I still felt like it can be a very lonely process. Um, with that said, I think that one of the last things my husband said to me and his sister actually was that
Mhm.
to leave the world better than we found it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it is my mission, for lack of a better vision, or
Mhm.
both, to do that every day
Yeah.
in whatever capacity I'm able to do it that day. And so I'm just proud that I am doing that for him.
I love that, Melissa. And you are so honoring him with the work that you're doing and you're making an impact. And you definitely took that to heart. And wow, what a gift. What a gift.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. As we're navigating, all of us navigating the holidays, some of us have had really big losses, like your loss. I lost my mom in the last year. The holidays can be really tough. And I'm going to share with you guys a little story that I just shared with Melissa before we hopped on because it is timely. It just happened. And I asked her, I said, Melissa, this segment is going to air this Thursday, which I believe is the 18th. And we are so close to the holidays. And I know there's a lot of other people that are struggling with things just like I am, just like Melissa has. And I happened to be in the Walgreens this morning picking out cards, and I told Melissa I do it at a time where I have an extra hour so I can be very intentional with the messages and the cards that I pick. And I enjoy this. Like this is something that I enjoy. I pick an individual card for each one of my family members, and it's very an intentional message. And I was standing there was Christmas music playing. There's a lot of in and out, a lot of hustle and bustle. People are getting ready. There was an older lady kind of down the aisle, just kind of like there. She had smiled at me when I walked up to the cards. And it was really quick. I was able to pick my dad's perfect message. Dad's navigating cancer. He's had a really tough year, but there was a very specific card that had an incredible message I chose for him. Then my son, I was able to pick that like really, really quick. Oh my gosh, that's a perfect card for Jared. That's exactly the message I want to give him. And then I paused and I realized I am not buying a card for my mother. And I was completely overcome between the music and the loss. I just started to cry. And I'm sure that this has happened to many other people that are kind of going through the same thing at the same time I'm going through it, or Melissa's gone through it. And this sweet lady just walked up to the side of me and just looked at me and she said, "Sweetheart, I don't know what you're going through, but can I give you a hug?" And in that moment, I really needed that hug. And I was like, "Yes, please." And she gave me a hug and she's like, "I don't know what you're going through, but whatever it is, you're going to make it through," was the message she gave me. And she has no idea what's going on in my life. But for
Yeah.
her to be brave enough and kind enough to walk up to a stranger and do that, like she is literally an angel here on earth. And I'm so grateful that people like her exist and that people like me exist too that will accept that kindness and love. So Melissa, as we're navigating the holidays, and I know this can be a triggering and tough time for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. As a mental health professional, what are some of the top tips that you would give people that are navigating and struggling this time at the holidays?
Sure. I mean, first and foremost, unapologetically let yourself feel.
Yeah.
Those feelings do come out of nowhere.
Hmm.
Grief is so vast, and
Hmm.
there's no right way to do it. There's no
Yeah.
rhyme or reason to it. There's no timeline for it. And you're going to get smacked upside the head
Hmm.
on a regular basis,
Oh, I
right?
have. Yeah.
Let yourself feel. And people are like, "Oh, you'll be fine." Well, they don't know that. And it's okay to be devastated.
Hmm.
Um, Another thing along those lines is when, just it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
If you're feeling overwhelmed
Hmm.
and you don't wanna,
Yep.
no, or no, thank you. And you don't have to give the why, because the why is none of their business. I tell this to my patients all the time. Boundaries are not something other people like.
Hmm.
but they're yours and you deserve them.
Mm-hmm.
Their reaction is not your problem.
Nope.
So, and then, lastly, if you need it, ask for help
Mm-hmm.
because it's not a weakness. In fact, asking for help is a huge strength.
I think you said that there's a free resource, like a hotline people can call.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, obviously, you could phone a friend, but if you feel
Mm-hmm.
like you just need to talk to someone completely,
Mm-hmm.
what's the word? Unrelated or what have you,
Right. Third
there's
party objective,
right.
right?
Yep. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So 988
Mm-hmm.
is the crisis hotline. It doesn't mean that you are suicidal. They are there to talk.
Yep.
And if you are feeling that way, obviously they're there for resources.
Yeah.
And if you have a connection with the therapist, reach out to them. I know it is a
Yes.
busy time of year, but that's what they're there for. That's their job, is to
Absolutely.
be of help. If you don't have a current relationship with, a helping professional, then Psychology Today is a
Mm-hmm.
great way to find somebody local to you.
That's great.
You can narrow it down by your concern, if you want a woman versus
Mm-hmm.
a man, what you're looking for, and it helps you find somebody local to you.
And they sort by zip code, don't they, Melissa? Or like region?
So yeah, like you can put in, Rochester, New York, or you can put
Yeah.
Airport or Penfield or Pittsburgh, or then it'll give you probably closest to you first. But
Mm-hmm.
we don't have a huge commute to places around here, so if
Right.
you're finding a good fit, I always say narrow it down to 3 people by reading their profiles, and then reach out
Sure.
and say, hey, are you accepting new patients? And this is what I'm looking for. And oftentimes people will give you a free 15-minute like consultation, phone conversation. And I always say too, finding a therapist is like shoe shopping.
Yeah. You have
So
to
they
throw
might
them
look
on.
they might look cute in the window, but they might not feel right. And that's okay
Mhm.
because relationships are about chemistry, whether they're
Yes.
platonic, professional, or romantic. So
Mhm.
find a good fit. And if you go to one and it doesn't feel right, go to the next
Move
one.
on to the next one. It's okay.
And,
Yeah.
and you're not going to hurt that
No.
professional person's feelings. That's their job, to do the best they can for the person in front of them. And if they're not the best they can
Mhm.
for you, then that's okay too.
I know in the past, like, you got to realize you're paying for the service. So you actually should engage with someone that you feel is going to be effective for you. And
Exactly.
that's going to be different for every single person. So for me, I need someone who's really direct. And I
Yeah.
know this about myself. So when I'm talking to someone, if they're like too indirect or just a little too passive, it's not going to work for me. So I'm like, I'm sorry, like I'm not the right client for you, and I need to find the right counselor for me.
Yeah.
So that's really critical. I believe in the same thing, Melissa. I believe in alignment in our financial business. That's why we offer a half an hour complimentary consultation to everybody to make sure that we feel like the right fit before we formally engage. And I think that that's important. You want to make sure that the person understands you, where you're coming from, what your goals are, all of those things. So thank you for that incredible advice. So as we go into 2026, tell me some things that you're excited about as we embark on this new year.
Just expanding my business,
Hmm.
being surrounded by the people that I moved back here to be with,
Yeah.
and being gentle with myself.
Hmm. I love that. I love that, Melissa. If you could go back in time to your 18-year-old self, and this is such a cool question, and share with that version of yourself a learning lesson that you've learned that has made a profound impact. And what I do is I always give you a little time because I share with the audience what mine was.
Yeah.
Mine, my learning lesson, like my life lesson that I've really learned is, and it's going to sound super simple, but it's pretty profound, is that you're not alone. Like when I was younger, I always felt very alone and I felt kind of like misunderstood and like an oddball and like I didn't fit in. That's okay. First of all, that's okay to not fit in. But secondarily, like I wasn't alone. Like I have a strong faith in God and I believe God is always with us and in our heart. I have a strong belief in um the people that are meant to come on your path are going to come on your path. And you do have people around you that love and care about you, and you're not as alone as you think you are. And I wish I could go back and tell my younger self that, right? Because I kind of had an edge to my personality, quite frankly. Thinking that I had to do everything myself and I didn't have anybody, and I was a little bit sharper around the edges, which I think as I've aged have softened dramatically, and I am a different person altogether now. But for you, what would you go back and tell your 18-year-old self, something that you've learned that was a profound learning that you would love to be able to share with the younger version of you?
Yeah, that's a good question, first of all.
Mhm.
I think part of it is to don't be afraid to make mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
because I think mistakes are not bad things. They're actually opportunities to learn and grow. They're lessons.
Absolutely.
And back then, I had no clue what I was doing with my life. I
Mm-hmm.
went into college at 17 years old, not
Yeah.
because I'm a prodigy, but we'll go with that story just in case.
Yeah.
But it's okay to not know what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and life experiences will help shape you in your future, and you can change your mind. It's
You
okay
can
to
change
change
your
your mind.
mind. That's the cool part about being
Yeah,
young with no responsibility. My son hears this message at least once a week from me. Hey, you don't have to have all the answers yet. You're only 20 years old, you know?
but I would even tell my students when I was, doing high school counseling. I said, listen, if you go into a profession and you turn 40 something years old and you decide you want to switch gears,
You
by all
can.
means, you can do that. Follow your heart first.
Yeah,
And if there's something that you want to do bad enough, there's a way to make it happen. Not
absolutely.
always
Like,
going to be the easiest road,
mhm.
but hard work gets you there.
You're right. I would have never thought, now that you say that, at 42, I would have left big corporate that I had always been in and been so successful. Would have jumped off that building and started a brand new company with my partner Noah. And 7 years later, here we are with our own office. We have a second business. We have two businesses, and now I built a third. If you had told me this when I was younger, I would have said, no way, I'm not doing all that. Or I don't even think I know how to do that. But you learn, like life teaches you lessons along the way that you can then take and into your next chapter.
Yeah,
And everything that you're learning is preparing you for the path that you're headed on. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that all the life learning that you go through is collective knowledge that
yeah,
you then share and help other people with. And I think that that's the best way to be on the planet and be a human, is to help transform maybe even painful lessons into a blessing for someone else.
absolutely.
So, yeah. Melissa, it has been my pleasure to have you on Divine Abundance. How can people reach out to you if they wanted to connect with you or do a consultation with you? How would they connect with you?
Sure. They could either look me up on Psychology Today, look up
Okay.
my full name. I'm also on Google.
Okay.
Of course,
And I just want to tell everybody, in our show notes, we will have a link to Melissa's website, as well as her LinkedIn, as well as just a reminder that she's in Psychology Today. We'll make sure that these are in the show notes. So if anybody has a question or wants to reach out to you, that they can.
yes,
Well, Melissa, thanks for being with me here today. It's been my pleasure, and I hope you have a great holidays, and I will see you in the new year.
absolutely.
Thank you, friend.
You got purpose, you got fire. He's the spark that lifts you higher. You were made for joy, made for more. It's time to walk through heaven's door. The world is yours, take your place. Every dream aligned with grace. Overflow is your reward. Walk it out, abundance is yours. Oh, you can change it every time. Hope and faith, they realign. You're not stuck, not anymore. 'Cause girl, abundance is yours. This is your Prospera era, where dreams align with grace. Abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? contact Elena Rodriguez.